Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here and agreeing to spend a few minutes of your day with me. You may notice that I'm not my usual chipper self. That's because things have been going wrong around here at my house since last Saturday, starting with my puppy getting sick and dying from parvo early Monday morning. And of course, with the activity of the sun, communications, computers, a lot of things are going wrong. And I'm just not for it. Anyway, Saints, Tampa Bay. Saints are hurt. I'll read off you our injury list. Derek Carr, out. Willie Gay was full participation in practice. Will Harris, out. Taysom Hill, of course, out. Alvin Kamara was limited participation in practice, but you know he's going to play. Kendre Miller was full participation, but I don't think he's been released from injured reserve yet. He will be soon. Lucas Patrick did not practice, and he's questionable. Cesar Ruiz is out. Rashid Shaheed was limited participation, but you know he's going to play too. Peyton Turner is questionable. Pete Werner is out. And I'm so gratified that Demario Davis is nowhere on the injury list this week. Saints had 11 on the injury list, 5 out, 3 questionable, 3 playing with injuries. Tampa Bay has 14 on their injury list. Graham Barton, out. Ernest Brown, out. Levante David did not practice, but you know he's going to play. Mike Evans was limited participation in practice. William Golston, also limited. Luke Goodicke, full participation, but he's questionable. Christian Isian, out. Cam Johnson, wide receiver, he's out. Khalija Carney, questionable. Jalen McMillan, questionable. Trey Palmer, out with a concussion. Rashid White did not practice during the week and is doubtful to play on Sunday. Jordan Whitehead is questionable. Antoine Winfield was limited play, and he is also questionable. Bucks had 14 on the injury list. 5 are out, 5 are questionable, and 4 are probably going to be playing. We cut A.T. Perry, and I can't quite understand why that was, considering the lack of experience in our wide receiver core behind Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave. Kubiak says he wasn't doing very well in practice, and what you do in practice is what you're going to do in the game. Well, Mr. Kubiak needs to adjust his thinking about things a little bit because I remember another Saints player who looked terrible in practice, but when game time, he was on. His name, Marcus Colston. And then, too, after the Kansas City game, we get word that Derek Carr is injured. Now, I'm going to tell you, I didn't bit more believe that than the man in the moon because Derek Carr was injured all last year, and he got injured in the Green Bay game and was not going to play in the Tampa Bay game that came next. Jameis Winston practiced with the ones all week, but did he start? No. Why? Because both Derek Carr and Dennis Allen recognized him as a threat. If he came out there and balled out, then there'd be questions about whether you're going to keep Derek Carr in his same position when he was stinking up the joint. So now we hear that Spenser Rattler is going to play tomorrow. I'll believe it when I see it. But I was watching some of Spencer's college film when he was with the Gamecocks. He can run quite effectively if he needs to. He can throw with accuracy and throw on the run. During preseason, I saw that young man put some balls right on the money in very tight windows. So we know he can make all the throws. But what happens to him if he balls out tomorrow? And what happens to him if he balls out Thursday night? You and I both know what's going to happen to him. He's going to be sat back on the bench, probably the emergency quarterback again, and we will languish under the auspices of a Derek Carr. What tickled me really bad was watching Dennis Allen's press conference when he announced that Spenser Rattler would be starting. He was red as a fire engine, and there was murder in his eyes as he spoke. Here's what I think happened. Yeah, Derek Carr went down. Okay, well, Spenser Rattler or Jake Hayner is QB2. So, of course, Dennis Allen is going to put Jake Hayner in there. Clint Kubiak, with his wide zone offense, would probably be better served by a quarterback who's mobile and who's not afraid to stand there in the pocket and deliver a throw, even if he does know he's going to get hit. Spenser Rattler can do that and get back up and keep on trucking. I wish I could have been a fly on the wall in either that locker room or in the coach's office because I'm sure it got loud and heated with Dennis Allen and Clint Kubiak disagreeing on who's supposed to play tomorrow. Of course, Clint Kubiak would think that a more mobile quarterback would be better to fit his scheme, while Dennis Allen doesn't want to take the chance that anybody else will outplay Derek Carr and engender questions about what's to be done after he's off injury. Now, we know what happened when Jameis Winston got injured. Jameis Winston lost his job. He didn't play another down in 22. And that was the plan for him last season. Dennis Allen. So now he got Spenser Rattler. Fan favorite. We watched him in preseason and we know that he definitely outplayed Jake Hayner and deserved the QB2 job. Dennis Allen wasn't going to do that. Just like he wasn't going to name either Ryan Nielsen or Chris Richard defensive coordinator in 23. He goes for co-defensive coordinator. And both of them left here running. Ryan Nielsen ran to Atlanta, and Chris Richard ran somewhere. He was out of football for an entire year before he was hired to the Jacksonville Jaguars staff earlier this year. I suspect that Ryan Nielsen had a little hand in this too. He is there, or he came there, to help with the draft, personnel decisions. And I also think that he is there to prevent Mickey Loomis, Saints brass, from making dumbass personnel decisions of the magnitude of Trey Hendrickson, of the magnitude of Zach Bond. Why is it that the Saints draft players and then cut them and they go on to other teams and shine? Does it mean that they didn't have the talent to be here? Or does it mean that the coaches didn't have the talent or the wherewithal to bring the best of these players out of them? Dennis Allen is supposed to be our defensive guru. I had said before that I thought he was elite as a defensive coordinator. Yes, the defense was out on the field for a goodly amount in the Philly game. Lesser so in the Atlanta game, but in both those games. The offense, in the waning minutes of the game, went down the field and scored. And the defense could not hold them. The defense, the team, has no killer instinct. And the reason that is because the one leading them has none. I don't know what we gonna do, nation. I've been boycotting since Dennis Allen has been there because I want to see some change in New Orleans. We thought that Clint Kubiak would be the change that we needed, and he looked like it for the first two games. The last two, the last three, he's looking an awful lot like Pete Carmichael. Tampa has a better team than we do. They have a better quarterback, a better offensive line, and I hate to say this, but I do believe they have a better defense than we do. Their wide receiver room is hurting a bit. But I don't think that's going to matter a lot because Mike Evans is still there, and he's going to continue to be his spectacular self. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? I had my wine, y'all, but things have been so crazy around here this past week that I'm looking at it sitting over there on the counter. For as difficult as things have been around here this week. I shouldn't be drinking wine. I should be drinking right, good, strong, knock you on your ass liquor. Then maybe I wouldn't be in such a mood. I'm sorry for the attitude. I don't like to come to y'all like this, but I felt that I had to since I didn't do a video last week. I was caught up with the dog and other things happened this week. Nasty things. I won't go into it, but I think that's all I have for this week. People, family. Like I always like to end my videos, I will say, whichever way the game turns out, whatever happens, don't get too mad and don't get too glad. Thank you all for being here. Please leave me a like at least. It costs you nothing and it takes very little effort. Or like, share, and subscribe if you've a mind to. See you with the game tomorrow. Who dat?